I talked about the China's sluggish auto market with Paul Bryan. He's an auto industry analyst and the host of the His Turn, Her Turn web show. I asked him about the strength of the industry right now.
Well, the Chinese automobile industry has enjoyed wonderful growth really since the 90s. If you take a look at the penetration or the acceleration of how much the industry has grown since then, it's been a pretty constant line that's been going up. Then over the past 2 or 3 years, we've seen a bad break in that line to where it's nosediving. The April sales, I think, were down about 18%. We're seeing, I think it was right around 18%. So it's contracting. I think that there's confusion on the part of the customer right now, trying to figure out what's going on with the market and which way the industry is going to be going in terms of incentives and different things that are affecting their buying decisions.
Yeah, Paul, to your point, I think Forbes came out earlier this year that has kind of tracked the auto industry, basically saying what you're saying. China's seen this double-digit growth over the past 30 years, so it's only natural at some point you would see a slowdown. But what are some of the factors leading to this, do you think?
Well, I think you've got a bit of an unsure industry right now in terms of not only internally in China, but also externally as well. You can only support a market for so long. And at some point or other, when those price supports and incentives go away, then all of a sudden you're going to start seeing a downturn. And eventually, it's just one of the basic rules of business. Those supports are going to have to go off. You can't keep them going on forever. So when they do come off, naturally it's going to cause a downturn in sales, and that's what I think we're absolutely seeing. You can take a look at examples of that, and this is applicable to the electric vehicle market that we're seeing right now as well. The United States has spent an awful lot of money in incentives propping up the EV market. If you were to take a look at the EV market 10 years ago, you had about 2% of total vehicles sold. So after 10%, after 10 years rather, of a lot of propaganda, a lot of advertising, a lot of trying to change people's minds about them, the penetration of EVs in the United States is still around 2%. Now, what's changing? You're seeing incentives hanging on, but as you look at big three automakers in particular, and even some of the smaller manufacturers in terms of volume, like Audi or Jaguar with their new e-tron and I-Pace, they are having to buy EV credits. They're going to have to keep those bought in order to keep the demand up on those cars. And if you take a look at countries like Denmark, where they pull off EV supports, the sales virtually drop to the floor.